There ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what?
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be. My name is Alfredo Gonzalez Valenzuela, and you're now tuned in to the Climate Frontline. Welcome to the Climate Frontline podcast, where I engage with folks, leaders who are in the environmental movement, social movements in different industries, artists that are just doing some amazing work. And really what I'm here to do is change the narrative of how we talk about climate change and how we talk about those individuals who are at the front line of climate change. So the reason I wanted to make this video is just to say a thank you for those individuals that have been following me along, sharing with your families or your friends and just having conversations. You've given me some great feedback about how I should be making this content, so I appreciate you. If you are just tuning in for the first time or you're considering following along, welcome to the community. Welcome to our community. This is a learning community where we're going to explore a range of topics around environmental justice, sustainability, and everything else in those systems. I wanted to ask, for those folks who have been listening in, I would love to hear in the comment section, what is the first episode you heard and what are some of the lessons you've taken away from these conversations so far? I would appreciate that. Thank you. I also wanted to let you know that we are on Instagram now because some of you all have requested to be on Instagram and that's the way you wanted to engage. You can find the link to the Instagram account on the comment section below. I also have a Patreon page, and what's cool about Patreon is that I get to make content that's specifically for you. And for example, with the podcasts, I'm putting all of the whole episode there.
The whole book is a mixture of prose and poetry.
And be like, okay, now I know what you're about. Now I know what you're talking about. You call it this, but we call it that. You'll make those connections.
You need personal narratives, and that power of storytelling is really crucial. And
what is needed to power this movement in such better and more effective ways through the language of storytelling than we can with cold and hard data.
If you would like to hear some of that, I would encourage you to join the community on the Patreon page. You can find the link to the Patreon page below as well. I just wanted to finish with saying that all this is good, and ideally for me is that you get to not only listen to the podcast and listen into these different conversations, but also it gets you to think about the role that you want to play, right? And in some cases, I think it's an opportunity for you to understand your role and say, hey, I may need to step back from this opportunity or position, etc., etc. Or it may say, hey, I may need to step up into this position to either make space or bring my community's perspective, my community's voice into that. And that all really depends on who you are, right? So for me, what that has been is being a facilitator in these movements that I've been part of, in these industries that I've engaged with, and the relationships that I built. And I see myself as a facilitator in all that process. And this podcast is just one means of getting at that. So I hope you appreciate that. And I will see you next time at the Climate Frontline. Thank you. Okay, amigos. Ciao.
The power of the people don't stop. Say what?